2. There are so many stories to tell. This chapter takes you deep into the very core of Facetaker's world, a place where music, art, philosophy, and personal story intertwine. We will not remain on the surface, but plunge into the depths of his creative universe, into the stories hidden behind every note and image. Together, we will walk a path that reveals not only his present power and reach, but also the roots, creative processes, influences, and aesthetics that shape his work. You will witness an exploration of his music, visual identity, and the ideological message woven through it all. You will glimpse his professional and personal life, his relationship with the modern world, and his engagement with questions that touch us all. We will uncover the philosophical foundations on which his art stands, as well as visions of the future that could change the face of the music scene. Prepare for an intense journey where facts, analysis, and artistic imagery merge into a single narrative, as uncompromising and raw as Facetaker himself. Biography, current activity and global music scene. Reach, artist history, artist personality, analysis. Key factors of his influence in the music and wider cultural world. Music and art. Facetaker, discography, musical and lyrical album analysis. Overall musical analysis. Overall ideological and thematic analysis. Album artwork. Analysis. Official music video. Analysis. Astrodia. Content and videographic. Section. Unitaria. Content and videographic section. Facetaker. Image analysis. Presence. Analysis of his visibility in the music world and his specific contribution. Analysis of his credibility and the perception of his personality and conceptual art by the world listeners and the wider audience. Analysis of the artist's social media and his synergy with fans. Professional life. Analysis of his professional career as a music producer and founder of Metaltone Records. www.metaltone.eu. Analysis of his lifelong 25-plus year active career as a musician. Engagement. Analysis of the artist's approach to social, cultural, political, environmental, and economic issues of the present day. Philosophy. Analysis of life. Truths and values embedded in the artist's work. Analysis of the artist's legacy. Additional info. Other private projects. Division Roggenheim. Analysis. Sharzal Band. Analysis. Involvement in other music groups. Trapnetiko. Haunabu. Astronauti. Axis Drive. Projected development. Predicted development of the artist on the global scene in the next 3, 5, and 10 years. Detailed summary. Summary of the Facetaker music empire. Facetaker. Future planned activities. Universe expansion and thematic elements. future concepts and new directions, multimedia and new forms of visual art. Facetaker in 2030, the apocalyptic future. Conclusion: Facetaker as a sonic apocalypse. Facetaker, the voice of the dark future. A music project and artistic entity created by Ronnie Rage, a visionary music producer, composer, and creative architect of the sonic apocalypse. His music does not shy away from extreme emotions, philosophical depth, or the raw darkness that he injects into every aspect of his work. Facetaker is more than an artistic pseudonym. It is a manifesto against the sterility of modern art, against superficiality, and against the commercial emptiness of the music industry. His music carries the grit of industrial, the power of metal, the electrifying energy of electronics, and the dense atmosphere of cinematic scores, creating a unique, visionary sound. Facetaker is not built only on riffs and beats, but on mood, atmosphere, and strong visual imagery that is inseparable from his work. Each project is an audio-visual experience that pulls the listener uncompromisingly into a dystopian world filled with darkness, despair, yet an unyielding will to survive and fight. Ronnie Rage is not just a musician. He is an architect of sound, atmosphere, and narrative. Every Facetaker album is a chapter of an expansive universe, blending dark myths, sci-fi apocalypse, personal introspection, and philosophical questions about collapse, human destiny, and the limits of reality. Facetaker is building a cult status, boldly crossing genre boundaries and experimenting with new sonic structures to create a sonic landscape that is brutal, majestic, and uncompromising. His music is not just entertainment. It is an emotional outcry, a war cry, and an artistic revolution in one. Visually and conceptually, Facetaker draws from dystopian and apocalyptic aesthetics, creating a world that is harsh, realistic, raw, and unwelcoming, yet fascinating in its darkness. His artistic expression draws inspiration from brutalism, post-apocalyptic sci-fi, cyberpunk, industrial decay, and dark philosophy about the collapse of civilization. Facetaker is not a musician for the masses. He is the voice of the underworld, the resonance of dark thoughts, and the soundtrack to the inevitable end of the world, which has already begun. His lyrics are not brainwashing, but a crack in the surface of illusion, a portrait of grinning masks that conceal emptiness. He speaks of the disintegration of identities, of morality dying in the packaging of comfort, of love that is beautiful, but also of death. One cannot survive without the other. Facetaker's work is not driven by the idea of entertainment. It asserts the aesthetics of shock as the only path to awakening. It is a cynical cry. Wake up, the world is burned, and the only thing left is to face it. Intellectually, Facetaker is a misanthrope, not in the crude sense, but as one who studies the human mystery in the lush fields of lies. He sees beyond the masks of mass culture, beyond the smooth surfaces of the digital, beyond pseudo-humanitarian facades. His poetry is cold analysis of pain, calling things by their true names, doing so with brilliance and with a scream. And yet, within it lies a strange empathy. You feel he does not mock our ruin, but grips our shoulder painfully, knowing we would rather sleep than suffer, and that the last option is awakening. His musical work, as an intellectual and philosophical project, takes many forms, from stark nihilism to finely encoded hope. In every breakdown, every staccato, every synthetic whisper, you hear the question, we are losing ourselves. But what if what remains is the purest thing we have? Cynicism is not the end. It is the mirror. Facetaker's imagery is not merely dark. It is a shattered psyche captured in metal and dust. The visuals carry distance, a cluster of stroboscopic shards, a static hum of emotions. They evoke the feeling of watching an introspective film about the last day of civilization, in fragmented frames that speak louder than the whole. That is what makes his visual style so painfully readable, yet untouchable. Facetaker is an experience, not a product. His work is a laboratory of pain and thought, exploring how deep the psychic abyss can be and how light fades between its cracks. And although he is a cynic, he is not without glimmers of awareness, small, quiet, but resilient. Facetaker's art forces us to confront our own staggering confusion. It offers no comfort. It is a challenge. And within that challenge lies a spark. Perhaps the only thing left is the will to glimpse that spark before it dies.